Welcome to the Real Local Partners Deeper Dive Podcast. Whether you're a small business on Main Street or a national brand with multiple locations spread across the country, the Real Local Partners Deeper Dive Podcast looks at what it takes to run that business every day. We touch down with entrepreneurs and talk to the experts about everything to do with running a business. Listen along and take a deeper dive. Now, here's your host, Stephen Feswick.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Deeper Dive podcast. We've got an information-packed show today, especially designed for small and medium-sized businesses wanting a digital marketing coach to help you survive and prosper in these changing times. And times are a-changing. My guest today is someone I've known literally for decades. In fact, I actually worked for him many moons ago. Mike Giamprini is the CEO and managing partner of G Partners, a data-driven collective of content creators, marketers, search scientists, and online presence experts. Our deeper dive today will focus on 3 pearls of wisdom relating to the importance of your online presence. First, specifically, what is online presence, why it matters, and some of the best practices that you can apply to your business today. Mike, welcome to the Deeper Dive. Let's begin by talking about online presence.
Well, thanks for having me today, Steve. Online presence is really how a business is found online and how they're appearing online. We could extend the conversation into talking about how a business is delivering an experience to a customer or prospective customer online. But it all starts with how their online presence is managed. And that means how their listings across the local search ecosystem are appearing consistently and accurately, how they're handling reviews, how they're participating in those conversations that are happening online with their customers, what their customers are saying about their business, what their website looks like, how it's optimized to be found, how we're using good local SEO practices. SEO is a bit of a mystery to some folks or most folks, but it's
Sure.
really simple if you just remember all SEO is making good content findable on the internet. And so it's important to use some SEO best practices like hyperlocal listings. That's considered part of an SEO best practice. But the online presence is all of those good things coming together to deliver an experience to a customer or a prospective customer.
Okay, so this is an obvious question, but why is that important?
It's critical. I don't want to inundate our listeners here with a bunch of data points, but I'm going to anyways.
Okay.
Google, amongst others, have published all kinds of data that has shown a steady increase in how consumers are starting their purchase journey, regardless of what they're buying. They're starting that purchase journey online. And so people go online every time they want to spend money, whether they're looking for a review about a product or a restaurant, whether they're trying to find a location, its hours of operation, whether they're looking for details about the product, they want to visit the website, whatever the case may be, those purchase journeys start online. And if a business, regardless of its size, doesn't have that online presence in order, they're not going to be part of the consideration set, which these days is simplified in meaning those search engine results. So when you type in what it is you're looking for and Google serves up a page of information with various businesses, if your online presence is in order, you're not going to be part of those search engine results.
But what do you so how do you answer a business owner who says, but Mike, I've already spent money on a website?
Yeah, most consumers don't even visit a website. Again, data is proof that a Google My Business listing, which is a free gift to absolutely every business in the world from Google,
Right.
A Google My Business listing is usually the first thing that a consumer sees in the search engine result. whether they're searching on Google proper or they're using Google Maps or another Maps service like Apple Maps, they're going to arrive at that side panel down the left-hand side of the screen, whether it's their desktop or their smartphone, that indicates all of the businesses that are managing their online presence are going to be appearing in that list of businesses, and those map pins are going to correspond to those businesses. It's not until people start to dive deeper might they end up at the business's website. A lot of times people find what it is they're looking for off the Google My Business listing: hours of operation, directions, a phone number, reviews. It's a very comprehensive piece of information that is found in a Google My Business listing for a business.
So as a business owner, then, can I do something or add information to that Google My Business listing that I would find if I typed in renovations or pizza or anything like that?
Absolutely. Whoever's managing the Google My Business listing, typically it is the business owner or the business owner's agency, or a service like yours, like Real Local Partners, could claim and verify a Google My Business listing on behalf of one of your customers and their small business. But whoever then has access to that Google My Business listing can update information. There's all kinds of features that can now be added. There are booking engines, scheduling engines that can be included in a Google My Business listing, where people can make an appointment right from that listing, can respond to reviews, can add pictures, can add videos, can add all kinds of really robust content that's going to be that much more intriguing and provide a better experience for customers and prospects.
So is there a risk if I don't go find that Google My Business listing and claim it for myself?
That is a great question. There is a security element to a properly managed and claimed and verified Google My Business listing. I personally don't like to sort of trade or sell on this point because it's a bit scary.
Yes.
But the reality is, if you don't claim your Google My Business listing for your business, someone else can. I had some examples of some franchise organizations that I've worked with in the past. And before I started servicing them with their online presence needs, we had instances of one franchise owner claiming a Google My Business listing that rightfully should have been claimed by another franchise owner. They were in sort of the same geographic area with their franchise locations, but one guy claimed and verified the other guy's Google My Business listing. And what happened is he just put in the phone number and address to his shop instead of the other guy's shop, and basically hijacked that online traffic into his own business. I've seen other instances where people can post to a Google My Business listing if they've claimed and verified it, even if it's not theirs, and they can do damage to the reputation of the business. They can post inappropriate content. Eventually Google will catch up with inappropriate images and things of that nature, but it could be out there for a couple of days. So it's kind of like your online storefront. You don't want to give up the keys to your store to a stranger. And you want to be in control of securing that store, being in charge of what it looks like to people who are coming by to either walking by the store on Main Street, or in this case, viewing your Google My Business listing online.
Wow. So yeah, it does matter then. It's important.
It matters, and it is probably the most effective and inexpensive way to begin to establish online presence for a business.
Yeah, that's interesting because again, the thought is as I've been talking to a lot of small and medium-sized businesses, that the owners of the business are good at what they do. Their skill, their talents, their abilities is what put them in business in the first place. And while they recognize the need to do something online, they may be kind of apprehensive as to who to talk to or what to do. Certainly, they don't want to spend hours and hours to try and learn this material on their own, because it's going to take away or detract from the business, that the skill, the talent, the ability that they're in business for in the first place.
That's a great point. Over the years, I've worked and dealt and spoken to literally thousands of small businesses in North America. And they all realize that as the internet has grown and its influence has grown, and how critical it is to be part of it and have that online presence managed properly, it still remains a little bit of a mystery to most small businesses.
Mm-hmm.
You know, the family who established the renovation business, or the guy who worked up the courage to open his garage, or the lady who worked up that same courage to open her cupcake or her bakery business. They didn't get into business to manage Google My Business and manage local listings and post to social media and create content and respond to reviews. They got into business because they were passionate about a service that they could offer to customers, and they loved doing it every day.
Yes.
And businesses like yours, Steve, at Real Local Partners, what you do is you give those businesses valuable time back every week or every month by taking care of those critical marketing success factors. You give them the time back by taking care of it for them.
Well, I find also when you're dealing with a small or medium-sized business that's trying to grow their business and you know, since March, April, of course, you know, so many businesses who once thought they had lots of time before they had to really go online because they were still generating business, people coming in the door. That's all changed, and it's a dramatic change. And all of a sudden, they're at this place where they have to learn a little bit or more about this, or find somebody that they can trust that's going to walk them through the process and put things in place for them. You know, and maybe that's a good question to start asking at this point in time, is that the process of generating a customer certainly has changed in the last decade, but in the last 6 months, it's changed dramatically as well. What would you say would be the, you know, the new reality when it comes to starting with generating a little bit of awareness to the point where a person actually does sends some money and there's a transaction takes place?
Well, in the last 6 months, since the world has been muddling through this pandemic, you know, the uptake on e-commerce businesses, the uptake on functionality of e-commerce for small businesses in particular has literally skyrocketed. Now more than ever, because, well, for one thing, people have the time to go online. People are online more. The traffic, the internet traffic has again skyrocketed in the last 6 months, not only because people are working from home and doing a lot of, you know, video conferencing and online calls, and business is being conducted online pretty much exclusively. But for smaller businesses, it matters more because they have been closed for such a long time in relative terms. And now they're starting to open up. And so there is some confusion amongst their communities as to whether they're open. Do they have curbside pickup? Are they practicing proper COVID protocols? There's a whole bunch of questions that customers have about their favorite businesses. And they're going online to find the answers to those questions. So now more than ever, it's critical that a business has that online presence locked down, because their customers, no matter how long they've been doing business together, their customers are going online to find out what's going on with their favorite bakery, barbershop, car service, plumber, whatever the case may be. I need to go online to figure out if they're open for business and how they're doing business. Are they ordering? Can I pay online? Is it curbside pickup, etc.? Got to be online. And during these times, with COVID and how, you know, across various jurisdictions in North America, businesses are starting to open up. They're phasing in openings.
Yes.
Opening up. And as that happens, two things are important to consider. One, again, customers are going to go online to find out if that business is open, practicing protocols, et cetera, et cetera. They're also going to be checking out reviews. Unfortunately, sometimes in these stressful times, it can get the better of a person. And a lot of bad reviews have unfavorably or unfavorable reviews have hit have hit a lot of these businesses because there's such pent-up demand for services, particularly in hospitality and food service. And so people, and it's unfair, but it's a fact that, a lot of folks are going to these places, waiting in line. The businesses are struggling because they can't operate at full capacity, which is what they built their business models on. So they're struggling just to survive. And they run into impatient customers who are frustrated because they had to wait in line, or the table wasn't ready, or they had a reservation and they're late for the reservation. The business isn't serving them as they feel they should be served. And so now more than ever, it's important that small businesses have that facility to respond to reviews. There's, again, a ton of data that I could bury our listeners in here that shows that a review that goes unresponded is more hurtful to a business than just a bad review. What I mean by that is when a customer leaves a bad review or a good review for a business, and the business owner or some representative of the business takes the time to respond to that review, it turns the attitude of other people, other customers are exposed to that review, it turns them around immediately. There's a lot of data that shows that people they go for the underdog. If a business has received a bad review and the business owner comes on and says, "Hey, I'm sorry, we let you down. What can we do to make this right? Can we take it offline? Here's my phone number. Give me a call. I want to make this right." Other businesses or other consumers who are reading that review are going to care that the business owner cares, and they'll give that business a second chance. Versus if you go online and you see a ton of unanswered reviews from a business, folks automatically assume, well, there's a business that doesn't care. They haven't taken the time to engage in that dialogue and make it right. So it's important that small businesses are managing reviews properly. It's also an indicator to the search engines. When the search engines are scraping and indexing and doing all the magical, mysterious things that the search engines do, one thing they're doing is checking to see if a business has what appears to be a managed review process. Then the search engines, Google in particular, will deduct from that there's a business that's going to serve their customers properly. There's a business that deserves to be included in the search engine results when someone is searching for it.
Well, it helps to appreciate, kind of to teach our small and medium-sized businesses that this is something that they have to look for, because I wonder about how many people are utterly unaware of the reviews that are there, good or bad. And one of the challenges is, are the reviews on, which social media? Is it Instagram? Is it Facebook? Is it LinkedIn? Like, where is the reviews? Where are the reviews? Where are people posting, their observations? And then secondly, how can I, as a business owner, address each one individually and make sure that I can respond to it if I'm not even aware that it's being done?
Yeah, it's important that a business owner has the right stack of digital products and services to help manage that part of their business, whether they're doing it themselves or whether they're engaged with a company like Real Local Partners to do it for them. It's as simple as getting reviews. So many businesses just don't have enough reviews. And since we know that those are strong indicators to the search engines, that again, if you have a well-managed review and reputation program, search engines take note of that. It makes it all the more important for small businesses to be asking their customers for reviews. It's important that when you look at that Google My Business listing, or the Facebook page, or the Pinterest page, or for instance, if you're in the renovations business, the house listing, that it is chock full of reviews. Just a robust set of reviews on all of those listings is critical. And so it's important to be soliciting those reviews from customers as well as responding to them, obviously.
I promised 3 pearls of wisdom you would learn by listening to today's Deeper Dive with Mike Giamprini. That first pearl, number one, there are a variety of elements that make up your online presence. And they can include your Google My Business listing, making certain your business is properly represented in all of the relevant listing services, managing the reviews that are posted about your business, improving your ratings, coordinating your social channels, and of course, creating a relevant and user-friendly website. The second pearl, the data suggests 80% of buying decisions start online. The online customer journey, beginning first with creating awareness and ultimately leading to post-sale activity, has fundamentally changed the way we do business with our customer base. Now is the time to adapt and implement an online strategy. And finally, number three, it is essential that the online foundation of your business is built strong and stable before you rush out and spend your hard-earned dollars upgrading your current website. Without a strong foundation, you will no doubt be wasting your precious resources. This is Stephen Feswick, and you've been listening to The Deeper Dive, a presentation of Real Local Partners, reminding you the land of opportunity exists between your ears.